me tell you about the history of genetics and who discovered this great science. The first one to discover the science of genetics was a Swedish monk, and his name was Gregor Mendel. Gregor Mendel. This was in year تقريبا 600 تقريبا. He discovered and he was the father of the principles of heredity. Although he did not have any tools, he did not have any equipment, no previous studies زي ما اتفقنا قبل كده إن there must be previous studies to search in or to compare his work with. He was the first one to discover something about heredity, and later on his work was modified, but up till now we still rely on his rules in some hereditary characters or cases. Right. What did Mendel say? He said that for every gene, there are two alleles. One of them is dominant. He was the one that said that, for example, by the way. And the other one is recessive. And always the dominant is going to conquer the recessive. But he said a certain thing. He said that the dominant character can appear if it is pure and can appear if it is impure, while the recessive character can never appear except impure. Yeah, I give you here example by, again, the tallness and the shortness. So if somebody's tall, this person can be pure or impure, or in other words, homozygous and heterozygous. Because the capital T or the tallness character is the dominant character. So whenever there is a recessive character, it's going to be as if it is hidden. It will not be expressed, will not show itself, because there is something stronger that is showing itself, which is the dominant character. But if the dominant character is absent, of course, the recessive character is going to show itself. But that's why we say that the recessive character can never appear except if pure. But suppose it is impure, يبقى على طول this is a tall person, because the tallness character is dominant, so it conquered or it won the recessive character. But this is what Mendel said. Now we have already known that we have thousands and thousands of genes. But how are they going to be inherited? I'm going to explain now inheritance of only one character, which is called the monohybrid. Hybrid coming from the word hybridization or breeding. So if I am examining only one gene, that's why it is called monogenic, one gene inheritance. And the same goes for the other genes back. Yani whenever I have a gene that has two alleles, they are going to follow what Mendel said. Later on, they found that Mendel was not correct about certain inheritance cases. So that's why they called the cases of inheritance that followed Mendel, they called it the Mendelian character. But if other characters do not follow Mendel rules, as you are going to see now, they call them the non-Mendelian characters. Now, let us start by Mendelian and let us see how one gene is inherited and accordingly all the rest of Mendelian characters can be inherited. Now, this word, cross. Cross in genetics means mating. يبقى if I have a male or a female that is crossed by a male, this X means a cross and it means mating. What's the meaning of mating? Means that the male is going to fertilize the female. But let us now see, I'll give you an example of this monohybrid cross or the monohybrid inheritance or the monogenic inheritance, and it is always represented, or it's better to be represented by something called the Punnett square. Punnett is the name of the man who introduced this way of recording the investigation. That's why his name has to be written correct, double N, double T, and the P is capital. So what is this Punnett square? A Punnett square, it represents this crossing. Let me draw this picture. I will draw this square. It is like this. And here I'm going to divide it into four smaller squares. This is a Punnett square. Right. Sometimes we draw it otherwise. I'm going to show you later, but this is the simplest form. Suppose I have, for example, an allele for a male. For example, the allele of tallness. For example, this male has both alleles dominant, while the female has both alleles recessive. So I call these the potential alleles for the parents. Type. These alleles, can anybody tell me what kind of cell is this and what's the number of chromosomes, 2N or N? Yes, Mariam, in each one of them. Is it 2N or N?
N.
Right.
Each one of them is N.
Excuse me? Each one of them. Is it N or 2N?
Each one is N because we're going to breed them together.
Right. Is this a body cell or a sperm?
It's a body cell.
Body cell يبقى ايه؟
2N.
2N. And what about the mother? Is this a body cell or an egg cell? This is a body cell. يبقى 2N. فال2N دهيت when they give me الجاميتس هتبقى N and N or T and T. Okay? Well, other one, 2N is going to give me N and N يعني T and T. Because I told you that this N represents a number of chromosomes. طب أنا هنا I'm expressing only one character. يبقى one chromosome is coming from the father of this man and the other chromosome is coming from his mother. And for the female, one chromosome is coming from her father and the other chromosome is coming from her mother. So when the male cells are going to make meiosis, هتديني sperms, each one of them having only N number of chromosomes, and the female the same. Do you understand, ya Salma and Warda? Is that clear?
Yes.
طب سلمى? Clear. Okay. طيب. Okay. طيب. Suppose I'm going to express, I call these طبعا the potential alleles. The capital T, both of them are potential alleles, and the small t is the potential allele. Suppose I'm going to choose this part of the Punnett square for the male and this part for the female. Can I write them opposite way? طبعا. There is no rule. يعني هنا ممكن أقول here is the male and here is the female as I like. I'm going to write the potential alleles. This is one of them and this is the other one. And for the female, these are the potential alleles. Type. Up till now, I did not cross. Now I'm going to cross. Suppose this sperm will fertilize this egg cell. What are the potential offspring or the offspring? You know what's the meaning of offspring? Offspring means the new generation that will be formed. Yani if I'm speaking about humans, I will say their children or their babies. But I cannot say a baby على الanimal. I cannot say a baby about a plant. That's why they have chosen this word to represent the generation of all the organisms, the offspring. So if this sperm that carries the capital T or the dominant character for tallness is going to fertilize this egg cell, so the potential offspring will be carrying both characters or both alleles. فوردة, is this offspring pure or impure?
It's impure.
Impure, very good. Give me another word for impure.
It's heterozygous.
Excellent, excellent. Type. What if this sperm fertilized this egg cell? It is going to give me the same capital. You're just adding the alleles. Capital T, capital T. Again, impure or heterozygous. But let's take the other sperm. If this sperm is going to fertilize this egg cell, so the result is capital T, small t. Again, if this sperm will fertilize the other egg cell, then again capital T, capital T. طب why I said if this sperm will, because fertilization يا جماعة, this is the random process. يعني أنا عندي مثلا in the humans, for example, only one egg cell is produced, so millions of sperms are trying to fertilize it. So this is a random fertilization. And by the way, نفس الميوزز, it produces 4 egg cells. 4. From one cell, it produces 4. But will the sperm fertilize this or this or this? This is a random, completely random process. That's why I said that every sperm can fertilize any egg cell. And the same goes for all the plants. For example, any pollen can fertilize any egg cell. So if you can see the result here, we have all the offspring, they are going to be capital T, small t. It means all of them are impure or heterozygous. What's the percentage of heterozygous هنا يا سلمى? What's the percentage? All of them are heterozygous. So what's the percentage?
100%.
Bravo. 100% heterozygous. Type Salma again. Is this heterozygous a genotype or a phenotype?
This is a genotype.
Very good. ما دام تلاقي geno يبقى something with the genes. يبقى this is the genotype of the offspring. طيب, suppose this T stands for tall and this T stands for short. Yeah, Mariam. What is the phenotype here?
Tall.
Tall, excellent. So we say that they are 100% tall, but they are impure. The first generation that is produced from these parents, it is called the F1 generation. So what's the meaning of F1? F stands for filial generation. It was described as the word filial. 1 means the first. So this is the first generation of these parents. We never write first filial. We write capital F1. So this is the male parent, and this is the female parent, and their first generation of offspring, they were all 100% tall, impure, or their genotype is having both alleles, the capital T and the small t, or in other words, the tallness and the shortness allele. But suppose these two are crossing together or are crossed together. طبعا هتقولي لي they are brothers and sisters. لا, I'm not meaning. طبعا I just give you an example. يعني about, for example, the plants. Any two plants can breed together. So I'm going to cross two members of F1. I'm going to cross them. And F1, let me remind you, were like this, all of them. So I'm going to take two of them to cross them. So I'm going to draw again a Punnett square, but I'm going to draw it in another way. And all are correct. I'm going to divide this into 9 squares, not only 4. But why did I did this? Because here I'm going to make this line, and I'm going to write here the male gametes and the female gametes. And I choose, suppose I'm going to put the males here and the female here. Both of them, they are the same. So here I'm going to write the capital T, small t of the male. And in the female, I'm going to write capital T, small t. Look at the previous example. I wrote the gametes outside the Punnett square. So if you drew it like this, it is correct. If you drew it like this, it is correct. I prefer the second type because everything is collected inside the Punnett square. No letter is outside that the examiner might not see. But it's better to collect everything inside the Punnett square. So if this sperm fertilized this egg cell, the result will be capital T, capital T. Randomly, if this sperm fertilized this egg cell, the result will be capital T, small t. But let's go to the other sperm. Let me have another color. If this sperm fertilized the egg cell, so it is capital T, small t. What if the sperm fertilized the other egg cell? It's going to be small t, small t. Type Warda. How many tall offspring? If this is T for tallness, how many tall offspring are there?
3.
3. Very good. And how many short?
1.
1. So I say that the tall ratio, the short, can be 3 to 1. And I say here that this is the phenotype of the offspring, and this is, of course, no, this is just the ratio. I cannot write the genotype now. Type. Why I didn't write the genotype? Because as you can see, I have different genotypes for the tallness character. Different. But look at the shortness. It must be pure. No other option. But the tallness character, or the tallness, or the tall individual can have 2 different genotypes. Now, what I wrote here is the ratio of the phenotype. Now, how can I write the ratio of the genotype بقى? I'm going to write tall, pure. Ratio, tall, impure. Because I have here tall, pure, and tall, impure. Ratio, short. Will I write pure or impure for short? No, it's not important. Because we know that the recessive character will never appear except if pure. So here the pure tall will be 1, the tall impure will be 2, and the short will be 1, according to the result on the Punnett square. So the second generation is called F2 generation. F1 was this one, the first generation from these parents, but their second generation is here. So as you can see that in the parents, the female was short, but this shortness character did not appear in F1, but it appeared in F2. Okay, in the notes, أنا ما حطيتش, I didn't put the tall and short, I put other 2 characters for a kind of plant for the type of seed. And let me tell you what's found in the notes بالمرة. I said that the dominant character is the round pea seed, and the recessive character is the wrinkled pea seed. But what's meant by round and wrinkled seeds? Round means that the seed is completely like a ball like this, but wrinkled, it's going to be as if it has cracks like this, like the wrinkles that are found on the face, the lines that look on the face when somebody grows up. This is a dominant character. The dominant character will allow the seeds to be round, while if the recessive character is found, the seeds will be wrinkled. Here, can I say that this is the genotype or not? Yes, Mariam, can I say this is the genotype?
For the second ratio,
Yes.
we can call the ratio genotype, but we
Yes.
couldn't call the tool pure. We have to put the alleles.
Ah, yes. Only pure or impure. So this is the genotype. What is found inside the nucleus or on the chromosomes, not this description, because I have here tall and short. Okay, so this is the genotype, but this is the phenotype. Okay, type. What else? Now, as you can see, that this is following what Mendel said, that the dominant character must conquer the recessive one. But what if I have, for example, I'm not going to mention something about humans. Let's مثلا give you an example about برضو the plants. The yellow seeds of pea, yellow pea seeds, this is the dominant character. طبعا we always see the pea seeds green. Green is the recessive. This is recessive. طيب وردة, which letters I'm going to choose to make this cross? Which letters? For the dominant and for the recessive.
You will choose a capital Y for the dominant,
Very good.
and then the lowercase y for the recessive.
Excellent, excellent. Type, like what I said, you choose the letter for the dominant character and put it in a capital letter, and the same letter but in lowercase or the small letter for the recessive. Never say Y and G. Completely wrong. Okay? Type, I would like to draw your attention about something. Suppose a question in the exam came without any letters. What are you going to do? You can choose any letter by yourself, but you have to write the key beside the Punnett square that you are going to draw. Yani they leave you an empty space, كده, blank space, and they ask you to draw the key. And by the way, these problems or these questions, they يعني always the full mark, you can score the full mark in these because they are very simple and very easy. But what is the key? Like Warda said, that Y will be the yellow, you write this, and Y will be the green. But let me draw your attention about something. Whenever you choose letters, choose the letters whose uppercase and lowercase are different. Yani, for example, you can choose capital A and small a. They differ from each other. Capital Y and small y. Capital R and small r. Capital T and small t. Never use the capital and small look like each other. Why? Because when you are in the test, you are in a hurry, then accidentally you're going to write it like this. So how can the examiner know that you mean a small letter? So never choose letters that look like each other. Always choose what the capital differs from the small. Sometimes they oblige you or they forbid you, they oblige you to write a certain letter. According to the letters that you have in the question, if there are no letters, you choose yourself any letters, but choose the capital different from the small letter. Yani sometimes in the question, they ask you to use certain letters. Then you have to use them. You're obliged to use them. But if they didn't mention any letters to use, you choose your own letters. But sometimes you have, for example, a yellow seed. And I just said that the yellow color is the dominant color. You are going to think, is this yellow pure or impure. Homozygous or heterozygous, both of them are yellow. So what are we going to do? We are going to do something called a test cross. What is this test cross? You're going to cross the yellow seed with a green one, because we know that the green is already pure. This is the recessive character. It has to be pure. So how are you going to answer this question? If they asked you to differentiate whether this, how to determine whether this yellow seed is homozygous or heterozygous, is it pure or impure? So you are going to do this. I'm going to put this picture instead of drawing and wasting the time. This is a test cross for yellow seed. Look here, and look how they wrote the answer. At the beginning, here is the key, that you are going to use the capital Y for the yellow and the small y for the green. So at the beginning, you write, if a homozygous yellow parent is crossed, يبقى suppose this parent is capital Y, and it may be capital Y, small y. So you are going to say, using a homozygous yellow parent, it's going to be crossed with a green seed, which is recessive. So yellow, you write the yellow seeds cross the green seeds, and you write in front of them, this is the parent phenotype. Phenotype means how they look. They are yellow, one yellow and one green. So what's the genotype? Aho. Capital Y, because I said I'm going to work on this at the beginning. And this is the genotype of the green, small y. But these are the body cells. They have 2 chromosomes or 2N. What are the gametes? Just separate them and write here gametes. Capital Y, small y. Of course, these are, if this is a male, so these are the pollens. We do not write pollens khalas because we wrote gametes, and these are, of course, the egg cells if this is the female. But can this be the female? Yes, but the other one is the male. يعني أو the opposite, إن الفيميل هي اللي بتبقى examined, not the male. So I'm going just to draw like this, and we put these gametes in a Punnett square. Now, here are the gametes of this yellow seed, capital Y, and here are the small y's of the green, and we just crossed them as I told you before. If this pollen, for example, fertilized this egg cell, this is the result, capital Y, small y. If this pollen fertilized this egg cell, capital Y, small y. If this pollen fertilized this egg cell, again capital Y, small y. If it fertilized the other egg cell, again capital Y, small y. If the parent is pure, so the F1 must be yellow seeds but heterozygous. Your answer will be like this, that the F1 of this crossing will be capital Y, small y, or the phenotype will be yellow seeds, but their genotype is capital Y, small y type. This is the first probability that this seed is pure. What if the seed is impure? You again repeat what you have done, but by using impure. But if they are heterozygous, so the parent phenotype will differ طبعا. Yellow seeds and green seeds, and the genotype will differ. Capital Y, small y. Instead here we wrote both capital because I was examining the pure. So here capital and small, and the green does not change. Both of them are small. And then I'm arranging my gametes على Punnett square. But again, of course, you're not going to draw arrows, but I'm just teaching you how to do it. But in the test, of course, you are used to these kinds of crossing, so you not draw arrows. If this pollen fertilize this egg cell, this is the result. If this pollen fertilize the other egg cell, this is the result. So what about the other pollen? If this pollen fertilized the egg cell, this is the result. If this pollen fertilized the other one, this is the result. Look at the ratio. Look at the offspring. I have here 2 impure and 2 pure. Of course, the 2 impure, they will give me 2 yellow seeds, while the 2 impure will give me 2 green seeds. This is a ratio. Can I leave it like this? Of course not. I have to simplify. That's why here they wrote 1 yellow and 1 green. This is the phenotype of the offspring, while this is the genotype of the offspring. So we say that if the parent seed was pure, then the result will be 100% yellow seeds, but they are heterozygous or impure. And this is the genotype of this 100% of these offspring. But if the genotype was impure, then the result is 1-to-1 or in the ratio, or we can say 50%, 50%. 50% will be yellow and 50% will be green. And this test is called the test cross. And it is done whenever you want to be sure that this character, either it is pure or impure. Suppose I have a tall person. Is this tall person capital T or capital T small t? Both of them are giving a tall character. I have to cross this with a recessive form or with a short. طب بالتأكيد يعني التست crossing we do not do it on humans, but we can do it on animals or on plants or whatever. But actually يعني for ethical reasons we do not طبعا cross it with يعني how can I get a short female, for example, and let her go through this test to know whether this male is pure or impure. This is unethical طبعا خالص بالنسبة للhumans, of course. We use these tests in, for example, the breeding tests, like the ones that I told you about, that if somebody wants to breed animals for getting pure form, I have to know, يعني I have, for example, a brown dog. Is it brown like this or brown like this? I have to test cross it with a white dog, because white is recessive character. Type. All what I explained means that there is a dominant character and a recessive character, and the dominant character always hides the effect of the recessive character. And this is what Mendel said. But as I just told you, that later on, يعني I think, or I can remember from my study, in the first modification for Mendel was done after 200 years of his death. يعني he started his work at تقريبا year 600 after Christ, of course, and after he died by 200 years, they discovered some defects in what he said. يعني they kept on working with Mendel for 200 years after his death. I can't remember when did he die. I can't remember that time. What did they discover? They discovered that there are some characters that I find 2 characters are dominant, no recessive. For example, I'm going to give you an example about a flower, kind of flower. I always like to use this before I go through what's written in the book. يعني in the book, they give you this example from the depths of this part. لا, I'm going to take it step by step. There is a kind of flower called the antirhinal flower that has a red color and a white colored flower. No one of them dominates the other. Both of them are dominant. Why? If I cross this with, for example, yellow flower, the red is dominant over the yellow. And if I cross this with a yellow flower, the white is dominant. But what if I crossed two dominant characters together, red and white? What will happen? Both of them are dominant. No character dominates the other. For both of them, they are going to share or to cooperate together to give me another different character, or a third different character. Not red and not white. They are going to give me purple. Purple flower. It isn't red, it isn't white, but it's purple, a third different color. And because both dominant characters cooperated together, they called this codominance. It has nothing to do with Mendel. Mendel said that there must be two alleles, one dominant and one recessive. No, later on they discovered no, there are some characters that do not follow Mendel, and that's why they called it non-Mendelian character. Meaning it does not follow what Mendel said. Look at this word. Co means cooperation. Dominance means between two dominant characters. If these two flowers are crossed with, for example, a yellow flower, both of them will be dominant on the yellow. So what if I cross the two dominant flowers together? Let us see what happens. Now, for example, the red flower. I'm going to give it capital R, capital R. But which letters I'm going to choose for the white, ya Salma? Give me your suggestion.
Also R, but small letter.
طب is white recessive?
Yes.
I just said that the red and white, both of them are dominant.
Oh, okay.
It means that, let me explain this. Maybe there is some misconception here. If the red is crossed with the yellow flower, the red is dominant, so the result is red. And if the white is crossed with the yellow flower, the result is white. So the white again is dominant, means that the red and white, they are dominant on other colors. But what if I cross the red with the white and both of them are dominant characters? So which letter can I choose for the white? Is it, and you said small r? No, because white is not recessive. So what should I choose? Excuse me?
Capital letter W.
Excellent, both of them. So I'm going to do, of course, their gametes will be R, R, and the gametes here will be W, W. I'm going to draw the Punnett square to see what's the result. And I'm going to draw the Punnett square I like with 9 squares. 1, 2, and here 1, 2. This will give me 9 squares. Now here I'm going to, again, this line and write here the gametes, or the red gametes and the white gametes. So here, capital R, W, and W. Now, if this here, the result will be RW, but can we write WR? The same. Write whatever you want. But as for me, I always like to organize my answer. The R comes before the W in the alphabetical order. So I prefer to write it at the beginning. But you can write, of course, WR as you like. And here again, the same. Of course, there's no need for arrows back. If this fertilize this or fertilize this, okay, no need for arrows back. Here, all the first generation was 100% purple. In some other books they write it pink. يعني according to the book بقى. طب what is the genotype? It is RW. Okay. طب what if I took any two of these and I cross them together? What will happen? We are going to take a purple flower, male for example, RW, and the gametes are R and W. And a female purple, RW with R and W. So I'm going to draw my Punnett square like this. And again, 9 small squares. And I'm going to see. Here I have, for example, the gametes of the male and the gametes of the female. RW, they are the same. And let's look at the results. Now, crossing between the capital R will result in R and R. Crossing between R and W will result in RW. Crossing between W and R, RW, and crossing between the W and W. What's the result here? The parent colors reappeared, these ones of that I used at the beginning. They reappeared once more, but I have here a red and I have purple. I have a collection of all 3 colors and white. 1 red, 2 purple, and 1 white. What's the genotype? RR, RW, and WW. By this, the original colors of the flowers appeared, but in F2. Is this Mendelian? No, it is not, because Mendel said that there must be complete dominance. His rule, by the way, was called the law of complete dominance, where there are 2 alleles only, one dominates the other one, one dominant, one recessive. But here I have 2 dominant alleles that got me a 3rd different character. But how can this be applied to human beings? The best example is what we call the ABO system. Now, what is this? These are the blood groups. They discovered that humans, and by the way, there are other animals that have blood groups as well, but I cannot remember, but I forgot. You don't have to know them, by the way. I forgot which animals. I used to know them. Now, Mendel said that for every gene, there are 2 alleles only, one dominant and one recessive. But this says that the blood groups are controlled by 3 alleles, 1, 2, and 3. If the allele is of the A type, it is written like this, by the way. I, and the A is written above. But what is this I? This is a letter that stands for a word immunoglobulin, but you don't have to know what is this. يعني it's, in the books they wrote ولا حتى في A2. IA means this is how you write the allele of a certain of the ABO. The B blood, if the allele is B type, so it is written like this: I, capital I, and B. What if the allele was of the O kind? Again, I, O. So what does this mean? We know that the genes, they code for what, Ya Warda? What does a gene code for?
Characteristics.
Now, when we were learning together the
protein.
The protein, excellent. So every allele here, it codes for a protein different from the other one. Okay, this protein is called the antigen. Remember when we have learned together the cell membrane And we saw that there are some proteins that are attached to carbohydrates, and we call them the glycoproteins. And I told you that these act as antigens which are specific for each cell. Yani the antigen of my cell is different from the antigen of your cell. These alleles, the A allele or the B or the O, they code for a certain antigen. والانتيجين ده is a kind of glycoprotein used for recognition, of course. We've taken this in the proteins. Warda hasn't taken this yet. Here, if the IA allele is found, so the antigen produced will be of type A. So this means that this person is blood group A, according to the type of antigen. If the allele was of the B kind, this will produce antigen B. And this person is of blood group B. Now, what if somebody has allele O? O, by the way, means 0. يبقى it will produce no antigen. And this person is blood group O type. I was going to tell you something and I forgot. I cannot remember. Maybe I'm going to remember later on. By this, it means that each allele is going to produce a certain, I remember. Where are these antigens found? On which cells? On the red blood cells. Why? The red blood cells, they are normal cells like any other cells. But their antigens, it has, by the way, different antigens denoting different things. One of these antigens are those of the blood group. But these antigens, they are found on the cell membrane of the red blood cells, not in any other cell of the body. That's why they are responsible for the blood groups. If there is allele A, then this person is blood group A. If allele B, this is blood group B. If O, no antigen, you are blood group O, 0 antigen type. Is this dominant or recessive? The O is always recessive, while both A and B are dominant characters. Now, what does this mean? It means that if I have allele IA, this will give me antigen A. Okay, type. We know that the alleles, there must be 2 inside the cell. One is coming from the father and the other one from the mother. Suppose that both alleles are the same, those from the father and from the mother, both of them were allele A. It means that this person is going to be pure blood group A. And this is how we write it. But suppose the mother is blood group O, or the father, or whatever. One of them is blood group A, carrying the A allele, while the other allele was O. So what's the genotype, or what's the blood group of the child? It's going to be again blood group A, but impure. I'd like, يمكن حصل لكم confusion شوية. Remember when I said capital T, capital T, capital T, small t, the same. But instead here I used one letter only. لا, for blood grouping we write I like this, and this is the letter, like a superscript. Is this clear? Is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Where Maryam and Salma, which one of them said yes? Salma.
And Maryam, and I was Maryam.
You was Maryam. Tabu Salma, is this clear or not?
Yes.
مش سامعة يا سلمى؟
Oh, yes, I said yes.
Yes, okay, okay. أنا بس حبيت عشان ما تتلخبطوش إن this is the same, but instead of writing only one letter, I will write the allele on top of the I. That's it. This is coming from the father and the other one from the mother. But why I said that the child here again is going to be blood group A? Because I just said that the blood group A or the allele A is dominant while the O is recessive. There is no antigen. يبقى there is nothing. Okay, يبقى بالتأكيد the blood group will be A. طب what if I tried on B? If I have the father and mother, both of them were, the alleles were of blood group B, then this child will be blood group B pure or homozygous. What if one of the parents has blood group B and the other one has blood group O? Again, blood group B. But this is impure because the B is dominant over the O. But what if I put the father was blood group A and the mother was B? What will happen? Both of them are dominant characters. So if I have IA, IB, and both of them are dominant, like the flower I just explained, this will give me a different blood group, which is called AB. Okay? A third character that was not found in the parents. The parents, one of them was blood group A, and the other one was blood group B. But the child developed a third character, was not found in the parents, like the flower. One of them was red, the other was white. When they were crossed together, they produced purple. It's not white, it's not red. But the same here. It's not blood group A, it's not blood group B. It is blood group AB, both of them together. And here we never write pure or hybrid, like the purple flower. Not pure and not hybrid. This is codominance. What's the meaning of codominance? The two dominant characters cooperated together to produce a third character which is not found in the parents' side. Can we try a test? Can we try crossing? Let me put this picture for you. ABO, here it is. Whenever I see this picture, I feel it is upside down. Did you feel the same? Always when I look at it, what is this? Is it upside down? No, it's not. Okay, what does this, what are these Punnett squares? Now, by the way, these symbols, never write them in the exam. You're not allowed. This symbol is for the female, and this symbol is for the male. But you're not allowed to write them in the test. Just write, for example, here female, and here is the male. Now look at the genotype of the male. It is IOIO. Which blood group is the male, Warda? Which blood group is this male?
Blood group O.
Very good. Why did you say O? Because this is a recessive character that can never appear except if pure. Like what? Like the TT, like the RR. Their recessive characters will never appear except if pure. Okay? Nothing is dominating them. Yeah, but again, I have here blood group O because IOIO. And this O is recessive to A and B. Now the mother is IA, yani pure A. Here are the gametes. These are the egg cells. IA, and the sperms, IOIO. If this sperm fertilizes this ovum, this is the result, IAIO. And again, IAIO. If this sperm fertilized the ovum, IAIO, IAIO. Type. What is the phenotype of the parent? She was blood group A. But how can I know? Can we see the blood group with our eyes? No. But when you go to make a blood analysis, they give you the result in a paper. They do not write the genotype except if you asked for it only. But they always write the final, that this is blood group A. And we call this the phenotype. But what's the father phenotype? He was blood group O. What's the genotype of the parent? IAIA for the mother, IOIO for the father. But what about the offspring? All of them, ya Salma, which blood group? The offspring. And tell me the percentage.
They are 100%
Very good.
A.
Blood group A, excellent. And what is their genotype? Genotype IAIO. Can I say that this is heterozygous? Yes. لأن ال A is dominant over the O, so I say impure or heterozygous. Now look at the other example. I have here the phenotype of this woman, ya Maryam. What is the phenotype? Don't look here.
It is the blood group B.
B, excellent. Is it pure or hybrid? Or impure?
It is impure.
Impure, very good. By the way, I'm used to say hybrid لأن كلمة hybrid means impure, and we will use hybrid in Cambridge. لكن in your Edexcel they never use the word impure or heterozygous. Type. Salma. Yes, Salma.
What do erythrocytes mean?
Erythrocytes means the red blood cells.
Oh, okay.
Return back to the blood that we learned at the beginning of unit 1. You're going to see the word in the notes. Erythrocytes, well, white blood cells are called leukocytes, while platelets, they are thrombocytes. The three terms are written in the notes, okay, at the beginning. Right. يبقى هنا, as Mariam said, that the blood group is B, impure. What about the father, ya Salma? Which blood group?
It's blood group A and it's pure.
Excellent. So what about the gametes 1, IB, or the X cells, IBIO, and here IAIA. If I made the cross here, IAIB will give me AB. Look at this, IAIB. So it's AB. If this crosses with this, يبقى A. If this crosses with this, again AB, and this with this will give me A, but impure A, of course. So I have the ratio of the offspring, the phenotype, of course, 2 to 2, and after simplifying them 1 to 1, one of them is blood group A and the other one is blood group AB. Type. What about the genotype in AB? طبعا I have no other option, IAIB, while the genotype of the blood group A, IAIO. But look at the other example. Here we have the mother is impure A and the father is impure B. So there is the gametes will be IAIO and IBIO. So look here, I have here blood group AB, but here blood group B, this with this blood group A, and blood group O. I have the whole collection, AB, B, and A, and O. Type. If I have, or they gave you two parents, whatever is the character, not exactly يعني تبقى blood group, whatever is the character, and they asked you what is the chance of getting مثلا a child blood group B هنا, for example. You are going to say the chance is 1 in 4. Why? because I have 4 probabilities, and one of these probabilities was blood group A. So the answer is the chance is 1 in 4. Okay, type another question. Should these parents get 4 children? لا. They might get 1 child, and the child can have any of these, because I said that the blood group A, for example, has the chance of 1 in 4. So if I have 4 probabilities, oops, where was Warda? She was disconnected. Ya Rabbi. She's still joining. Again, she's disconnected. What's wrong with her internet? Welcome back, Yawarda. Still her mic is not connected up till now. No, there's something wrong with her internet. No message on WhatsApp. Yes, welcome back. What did you miss, Yawarda? What did you miss? Because I was
sorry, I think my internet
yes,
signals dropped.
Yes, I know. But what did you miss? Because there was no notification that somebody was disconnected. What did
The
you
last part.
hear?
The last Punnett
Okay,
square.
all the last Punnett square. Okay. Let me erase this. It goes the same way. يعني هنا I have the female IAIO and the male IBIO. So here, after crossing, the result was 1 probability AB, and 1 for B, 1 for A, and 1 for O. All the collection appeared in this crossing tab. If in a question there comes, what is the chance of these couple to have a child blood group B? Of course, you can never know except when you draw a Punnett square in your draft paper. Yani they just leave you, for example, 1 line, no space for drawing. Please do not answer except if you draw it. Even if there is no space, you have a draft paper in which you can draw what you want. So try this crossing and get the ratio. So the question says, what's the chance of having child blood group B? Because we have 4 probabilities, and this is blood group B, so I say the chance is 1 in 4. Okay? But what if the question was here? What's the chance of getting child blood group AB, ya Maryam? What are you going to say? In the middle, the one in the middle. What's the chance of getting?
Blood group AB is 2 in 4.
Excellent. يبقى never follow after simplification. It is 2 in 4. Look at this. 2 in the 4 probabilities. And here is the same. What's the chance? All 4 in 4. But what does this mean? Do this couple have to get or to be pregnant, مثلا the woman, in 4 children? No. She might be pregnant in 1 child only, but I have 4 probabilities that this child might be AB, might be B, or might be A, might be O. But sometimes, for example, this lady, yes, she has 4 children, or 3 or 2. Must they have the 4 different blood groups? No, maybe all of them are blood group AB, because I said the chance is 1 in 4 for the first child. Again, the chance for AB is 1 in 4 in the second child, and so on. But why? Because I said that fertilization is random. No allele is choosing another allele. I said that if this sperm fertilized this one, so this is the result. If fertilized this one, this is the result. So suppose that in all 4 pregnancies, the IB allele here chose this one in the 4 pregnancies. يبقى sometimes the student, there is a misconception here that this lady must have 4 children and each child must have a different blood group. No, this is just probability that there is a chance 1 in 4 that this child is blood group A. But what about the other probabilities? ما ممكن in the allele of the father can fertilize the same allele in the 4 pregnancies. Okay, so it's not a must that this couple must have 4 children. No, they might have 1 child, 2 children, 3 children. They might have 4, but it's not a must to have different. Maybe they are different, and maybe all of them are of the same type. Maybe 2 are of the same type and the other 2 of another, and so on. There are 4 options in front of us because of different or random fertilization. But how can it comes in the question? Okay, suppose that, for example, in the question they said that the couple, they have 4 children, but all of them are of blood group O. Suggest why. You are going to say because this is random fertilization and the IO allele might cross or be gathered with the IO allele of the mother in the 4 pregnancies. So simple. Okay, so this is again a case of codominance. And let me ask you a question about blood groups only, Mariam. From what I explained, how are the blood groups inherited? Which pattern? Is it complete dominance, as Mendel said, or is it incomplete dominance or codominance, as the studies said? What's your opinion?
It can be both.
Both. برافو عليك. يبقى there is the rule. They can follow Mendel if IO is present, because this is always recessive. If there is IO, IA, or IB together with IO, so always we follow the complete dominance. O dominates, A dominates the O, and B dominates the O. But codominance if IA and IB are brought together. So this will be codominance where both dominant alleles cooperated to give me a 3rd different character that was not found in the parents. طيب وردة, when if I have somebody IA, IB, when can the blood groups of the parents arise?
In the offspring, when you cross them?
Yes, it means that this was F1 of these parents. But if I have one of F1 that was crossed with the similar genotype, so this will result in these together with IAIB. As I showed you before in the flower, that if I have, for example, a woman that is IAIB, and by chance كده she married a man IAIB, so here the alleles will be IA and IB, and the alleles will be IA and IB. And let me try this on the Punnett square. Here is the square, and here are the divisions. Like this. I said that both of them, they have the same alleles. So IA, IB for the مثلا the mother, and for the father IA IB. So let us try this. If this sperm fertilized this ovum, it will result in IA. It means blood group A. If this sperm fertilized the other ovum, it's going to give me IB. It means blood group AB. If on the other hand, the other sperm fertilized this one, it's going to be IB. It means 2 AB. And if this sperm fertilized this ovum, it will be IB. And here, there are no heterozygous. They must be pure. The A and B must be pure. But should I say على ال AB impure? No, because this is codominance. This is not what Mendel said. This is not complete dominance. This is codominance. There is no recessive. Both of them are dominant.